Hey everybody, we're here with Cody. This is Attack On Productions. We're here at TCG Con. Cody just placed sixth with SS4.
SS4, blue good stuff.
So let's get into it, man. We're pressed for time.
Yeah, we're all pressed for time tonight. It's been a long day. All right, so SS4 Vegeta, if you don't know what he does, he is, first of all, he's a gorgeous metal leader. On attack, draw a card on both sides. He has the same effect on both sides if he hits you for any reason, so you can't press charges against him. He ramps in energy, and when he awakens, he has the exact same text as he does on the front side. He draws one card, doesn't untap any energy when he awakens at 4 life, but if you activate a counter during any point in the turn while he's in rest mode, he switches to active mode, so pretty good. So you get multiple chances to try to hit. And then, of course, if you are playing this guy, you play 4 copies of both of these. These are basically how you hit people early. If you see this card your opponent is reading, take damage or regret all of their life choices. Because if you're going to out-combo any of these swings, it's going to cost you 4 to 5 cards. You don't want to do that, because if you do that, you lose anyways. So yeah, you play those. If you know what they do, I mean, Google's pretty good. TCG player, DBS Deck Planet, those are all really powerful things. Next, you got your plethora of good 1-drops. You play these. Isekai, it's good in this format. People are playing King Piccolo. I don't know why, but hey, they're playing King Piccolo. The deck's pretty good. I mean, you might have heard that. On play, draw a card. If your opponent plays a dude during your turn, they have to bot deck a card from their hand. With this leader specifically, you can play this, draw a card, swing with your leader, and then just combo this off. Against most decks, that's what you do. The only reason you play this is because it's really good against King Piccolo. Next, the best super combo for the deck, you play 4 copies of Zeno. Similar to the Kai, you can just play this, draw a card, combo it on your leader, and threaten 20k if you don't happen to have your UIs or your Realm of the Gods. Another cool thing about this card is since you randomly ramp, any card that you ramp is essentially a card in your hand, because you can just pick it up and use it. It's pretty good. In case you don't know how that works, just a quick example. Say you have this in your energy and rest, you activate this in your combo area, you pick this up, and you can immediately replace it in active mode. That's really kind of a trick that Blue's been doing for a while, and it helps them stay very energy fluid during their turns. Next, you play 4 Senzu Bean. If you're playing Blue, this is what you play. You absolutely play 4 of this card. I think there's only a couple situations where you can not play 4 of it, and that's, for example, keeping you at exactly 50 cards. Other than that, you absolutely play 4 of this card. Next up, we have a nice little package of decent cards. You play this. Man, this card was good. If you know what this does, for every energy your opponent has, it reduces its cost by 1. It's a 6-drop with 3 spec blue, which means the cheapest this card can be is 3. That cost is only reduced on your opponent's turn. Important to notate that, so you cannot just slam this for 6 or slam it for 3 and attack people. What it does is, while it's on the board, in rust mode specifically, your opponent cannot attack your leader card with battle cards. Unisons and leader can still go face, but everything else has to swing at this card. And in case you don't know, it's deflect, barrier, triple strike. So it's literally every good keyword you could ask for, and it's a really annoying card. So if you have this and you have a couple Senzu Beans, it really just passes your opponent's turn. Next, you play the God Seals. Okay, hello. Nobody should be surprised that this card's in this deck. God Seal is a broken counterplay. It's completely free. If their opponent's playing a card that doesn't deflect, it gets yeeted. Essentially, this card beats most decks right now, with the exception of the mirror match. This card is absolutely dead in the mirror match, and it is charged 100% of the time because it hits absolutely no card.
Just destroy Sin Shinron with that
Oh
thing.
yeah, this card just bodies Sin Shinron, but we have another card that does that.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, we have another card that does it. But yes, this does body Sin Shinron. Fun fact: if you use this on Sin and then immediately play Turning the Tide, they will find where you live and do horrible things to you. And now for MVP of the day, I think this was the best card in the deck. Kale, I might even up this to 3 and just cut Roshi from the deck entirely. Very big fun fact, we played Roshi, but he never hit the board today. This card was played in every single matchup, I think, without fear. I slammed this girl, and boy, she put in work. For 5 energy, she basically hits anything that's 3 or bigger on their board, yeets it to the bottom of their deck. She's a double striker with deflect, so she's extremely good in the mirror match, provided they don't have Boo boarded. But if you're against that, you board the other barrier cards, and you do some cool stuff in the sideboard that lets you beat other blue decks pretty heavily.
I wonder what that could be.
But if you do have the 7 energy and you play this, it's also good against every blue deck. So card's insane, wipes their board ignoring barriers. Card is bonkers good. Next, we have, of course, the best Unison in the color. You play this guy. We do side him out in some matchups where he's not going to be as relevant, specifically very fast aggro decks, where we have another trick that we do with 4 energy to play another Unison that also kind of dinks the aggro decks. But other than that, this card is bonkers. 20k double striker that you play for 4. If your opponent's basically playing battle cards that aren't barrier, they can never reach you. This guy's a blocker. He does a whole bunch of stuff. This card basically reads your opponent loses 2 attacks every turn. And it also draws you a card, untaps energy. Fantastic. Basically a 3-drop unison. You can't get better than that. 2 Marichims. Okay, this guy's cool. He's a 25k dual attacking double striker that you play for 4 energy with Barrier. There's a lot of decks that can't answer this card. Against blue, the only thing they can do is trunks it, and if they do not have the trunks or they think they have better targets to trunks, they are wrong. If you're playing against blue and this card hits the table, you should trunks this 100% of the time because it's the only target you're going to have. Other than that, this card kills people. I like it better than a Booney because while a Booney has the same amount of damage pressure, it is over 4 attacks. This guy does it over 2. And Booney kind of gets stumped by the counter plays that Red are playing right now. For example, if you pay 4 and play a Booney and they go Vegeta, you lose all your tokens, you feel real bad. And then you just left with a 20k that untaps an energy sometimes, as opposed to a 25k double striking dual attacker, which is way better. So if you don't own these, pick these up. They're like 80 cents.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got 3 cards that I'm very glad I played today. This helped me beat King Piccolo quite a lot. If you don't know what this card does, it's a counter. We don't play it for that ever. That's a bad effect. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it doesn't negate the counter. But it's a dual attacking 20k with an auto that when you play this card, you choose 2 of their battle cards. Doesn't matter what the energy cost is, as long as they don't have barrier, they're gone. You put them on the bottom of their deck, and it's fantastic. Beats piano. It's just a great card.
Super big evildoer.
Yeah, it's just like evildoer. And of course, yeah, we're blue.
Yeah.
I mean,
just charge it, bro.
We charge it every game. This card's trash. Don't play blue. I'm kidding. You play blue. That card's good. Next up, we have, and this is another tech option for the main board today. We played triple Ready to Rumble, for, as I brought up earlier, with the Vegeta counterplay that every red deck is playing. It hits 15Ks and less. Fortunately, I don't know if you noticed Ready to Rumble right here. He's 20, and he's also a floodgate, so he dodges all the red counterplays except the Kettle, Denial of Hope, and Omen of Awakening, ones that are not being ran right now. So fantastic card, really good in this particular format. I don't know how many turns this card by itself just stopped for me. It was a great card all day. Going forward, it might get sided. Next up, we have the nice 2-of package. We have Late Game Baby Ape. If you're blue, you play this card.
Yeah.
I don't know how many cards or games this card was won, like people who've played blue, but this card is absolutely insane. If you're not ready for it, it just takes the game. It stops pretty much everything. I mean, you can even respond to U7's UI Goku with this and just yeet it onto the bottom of their deck before it gets to attack. I mean, this card's probably going to die, but hey, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It is absolutely worth it. Next, this card is getting cut. This card is butt. I didn't play it once. It's a cool threat, I guess. It eats 2 dudes when you play it, and at the end of each of your turns, you draw a card. It's a 25k critical dual attack barrier. I mean, this sounds really nice, but for 6 energy, you could just play Kale and keep one up and have wiped their board.
It just ends up being too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, this card could be literally anything. You could make this like set 2 blue shoe, and it would be a better card. I'm not even kidding. At least that card has 5k combo power. I have died because that card was a 10k. We're blue. Of course, we play Turning the Tide. We're not a deck that limits us from playing this card, so we play this card, we flex on this card, and we lean on this card. There's a couple times today during my matches where I actually intentionally made people spend their energy to cooler my hatch. Cooler counter my hatch, specifically to put them on 1 energy so they could not Jiren this, and they lost to it. So very important that you think about Jiren going forward, because every deck's going to be siding it, because this is the card that makes blue good. And then finally, we have our defensive package, aside from the final card of our end game. We have these. This card's good. I mean, I played it a lot, a fair number of times. And the only reason we played this card was because we really hate Sin Shenron. There was a game I played against Sin Shenron. He's like, well, it's going to take you 2 more turns before you can tragedy me. So I just played this, ramped 2, and then put the rest in my hand. And I said, well, you're going into your turn 5. I have 9, so I'm just going to tragedy you before you ever get the chance to pay 6, and you're going to lose. Of course, I did play tragedy, and he conceded. And then game 2, I played tragedy, and he conceded. So it was very consistent to tragedy. Perfectly fine to play tragedy in this leader. And then our defensive package, obviously we're blue, so 4-dimension magic. You play this card's insane. Untap 2, take a life. Sometimes you die for it, sometimes you kill yourself with it. Hey, whatever, do your thing. And this is for, this card specifically was for 2 matchups. One that I didn't expect to ever see, which was SS4 Bardock, because everybody's playing the 8-drop Gogeta in that deck, and this card single-handedly crimps that deck by itself. If you have these in your hand, that deck just doesn't even work. And the U7 deck, this hits their secret rare, this hits 8-drop Goku. You do have to pay 2 for this. Don't let anybody tell you that you can just play this for 1. This is 2. You have to pay both.
Yeah.
You do draw a card, and then 7s or bigger can't swing for the turn. Fantastic. Absolutely love this card. And then I'll get into the sideboard really quick. There's a card here that Bancroft really likes.
Yeah. It's an amazingly beautiful card.
Yeah, it's really good. First of all, I'll get into like the biggest tech choice. This people are gonna get thrown off by this. Boom. Who's seen this card? Who's actually seen this?
Who knows where to buy
I mean,
that
you
card
probably like don't even know where this came from. You're like, well, that card looks sick. You're right, it does look sick. In bulk. But we play these. So the idea here was for King Piccolo or Gogeta Xeno in matchups where, like I brought up with Boo earlier, in matchups where Boo is not going to put in the work that you need, you play this instead of Boo to slam this guy early, and when this guy comes down, they're completely floodgated for a turn. You use it to wipe their board. So you come down, you wipe their board, they're floodgated, and then you have blocker that you played.
Just sick value.
It's pretty good, yeah. I mean, because as soon as the thing that's cool about this tax effect is if they have nothing on the board already, they have to produce 2 cards in order to even get 1 swing off, and they have to lose one of the cards they produce. So this card actually just reads like spend like 4 energy to even start doing anything. So very good, very good. I actually sided in half of my games. And of course, there's the 2 cards. Bancroft's going to love this part. So we got the 3 Burnished Bonds Borgos.
Oh, man.
I feel a little bad because he was the only player I sided this into today. I didn't play another blue matchup at all, and this is good against Soul Striker, and unfortunately, he was the Soul Striker player I played. And of course, oh man, that's just.
All right, we're done. We're done. We're done, guys. We're done.
You don't want to talk about this card,
No,
Bancroft? Nothing?
that Go Tinks single-handedly just crippled me.
Yeah, the card was really good. I'll put it to you that way. Card's fantastic. If you know what this does, deflect, barrier, double strike. So it's literally every good keyword. If your opponent activates a counter when this card attacks, you wipe their whole board ignoring barrier, and then you untap 2 of your energy. And as the game goes on and you keep producing these big threats, this card gets more and more and more annoying.
I forgot that card didn't have unique, and you had multiple on the board. You managed to get both of them against me.
Yep.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Double barrier hope. Didn't side this in. This was a bad choice. Don't. I figured I'd be playing against maybe some like harder control decks today, and I was like, maybe I'll need this. Didn't need it all. Card was butt. It cut it.
It's just one of the few ways blue can ignore barrier.
Yeah, but I mean, like this deck does it in spades, so I didn't. This was a mistake for sure. This was actually supposed to be the draft box King Vegeta, and if it was, I would have sided it in every matchup today. I actually think that going forward, the Roshis might become 2 copies of that King Vegeta because that card is, oh my god, it's so good in this deck. If you don't know what it does, it is a deflect card that you play for 3. It untaps one of your mono blue energy, and it adds a unison from your drop or your unison area to your hand. So. And it's a 19k card, and then once per turn, you can ditch any card in your hand and just negate an attack. So it's super good, fantastic. It's a good pressure card, good early game card. Kind of fits the same position as the Vegeta earlier, but it's for more of a neutral game. This card should have been that. I just couldn't get one in time, so we played the next best thing, which was unfortunately this dinky little Goku from, God, was it set 11?
Yeah.
Set 11, yeah. Nobody actually knows what this card does. And then 2 more copies of Dirty Burst for the U7 matchup. That was really it. I wanted to be able to have 4 copies of that card in that matchup, and boy, I sided them in every single time I played against a deck that it could be good against. And it worked beautifully. It worked against Sin, worked against U7. Boy, today was fantastic for this deck.
Well, thank you so much, man. Congratulations on 6th today. You killed it. And looking forward to playing you in the future, man.
Yeah, you guys have a great rest of your night.
Thanks, you too, man.
Thanks for coming out.